good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to a brand new video here on the channel. It is fixture release day. We do have some other videos with the Carabao Cup draw and the Virtue Trophy draw, but this video is focusing on the fixture release. Of course, Doncaster Rovers, champions of League 2. We won a trophy. What phase is Grant McCann in? He's in phase 2, which is win something. And we are promoted back into League 1 after a few years off the division. Now, we're going to go through this fixture schedule in month order. Of course, the times of these games may vary due to Sky Sports scheduling, the broadcasting, etc. So let's get straight into this one then, and we're going to start off with the month of August. So we kick off the season on the 2nd of August at home to Exeter City before travelling to Mansfield Town on August the 9th. On the 16th of August we host Wycombe Wanderers before travelling to Huddersfield Town on a Tuesday night on August the 19th. Then we go away to promoted Port Vale on August the 23rd that week, and the following week is that home game with Rotherham United. In September we host Bradford City on September the 6th, the first weekend in the month. Very interesting one there. Rotherham and Bradford back-to-back home games. Very good one there for Gates and viewing figures. Then we go and travel to Wigan Athletic and Ryan Lowe on September the 13th before we go and host AFC Wimbledon, another promoted side, on the 20th of September before travelling to the final September away game, and that is Luton Town, of course relegated from the Championship. To kick off October, we host Burton Albion before travelling to Leyton Orient. We then host Northampton Town before travelling to Reading. So again, a pretty interesting month there. I think Reading will provide some tough competition. I think that Orient will provide some tough competition. I think Burton could snatch something potentially if we're not on our A game, and I think Northampton is probably the easiest of the 4 games, but they do still have some good players, so we've got to keep an eye out for that one. What a start to November though. We host Barnsley on the 8th before we travel to Lincoln City the weekend after, before an away trip to Stevenage the following weekend. But then we finish November with a home game against Peterborough United and our former manager Darren Ferguson. That's going to be a very, I think Peterborough's probably going to be the toughest game of the month. I would say Barnsley could be the easiest game. And the reason why I say that is because Barnsley right now, recruitment-wise, do not look great. So I think Barnsley could be the easiest. I think Stevenage have brought in some good signings. I think Lincoln could be tough. Peterborough's the toughest for me because I think they'll be back with a point to prove after having an awful league season but winning that Virtue Trophy. So for me, I think that Peterborough have got a point to prove. I think Barnsley, from a recruitment standpoint and from the fact that it's not looked great off the field for Barnsley this summer so far, I do think they could be the easiest of the month. Then in the month of festive cheer and decent holidays, we host Stockport County on Tuesday, December the 9th. Of course, that'll be the first home game of December before we travel to Cardiff on the 13th of December. Then we host Plymouth on December the 20th before a Boxing Day away trip to Blackpool. Get those fish and chips ready. Then we travel on the Monday to Stockport County. On New Year's Day, we host Bolton before we go and host Luton on the Sunday. Then on the 10th of January, we go away to Burton before we travel to AFC Wimbledon the following Saturday. And to finish off the month of January, we've got home games against Wigan Athletic and Leyton Orient in the space of a few days before an away trip at the end of the month on the final day to Bradford City. Into February, and we are away at Wycombe Wanderers on the 7th before we go and host Port Vale and then Huddersfield Town in the space of a few days. Then we go away to Rotherham United on the 21st of February before a home game on the 28th against Cardiff City. On the 7th of March, going into a brand new month, we travel to Plymouth Argyle. That will probably be one of the biggest away trips in terms of distance, before we then host Blackpool on the 14th of March. We then have away games at both Bolton and Barnsley before we finish the month hosting Lincoln City. Going into April, we host Mansfield Town on Friday the 3rd before the Monday away at Exeter City. Then we host Reading before travelling to Northampton Town and then hosting Stevenage. And on the final day of the season, on May the 2nd, we go away to Peterborough United. So there we go then, that is the full fixture list schedule for this season. Obviously the times of the games will change due to the broadcasting schedule, but I think immediately what stands out to me is the Christmas period. I think the Christmas period could be very, very challenging for us. I mean, look at those December games, by the way. Stockport, Cardiff, Plymouth, Blackpool, Stockport again, and then New Year's Day, Bolton. But, I mean, just December alone, that is a very, very, very tough month. I think it's a very tough month. I would say that it's probably the toughest month of the season, on paper anyway. Of course, football's not always played on paper. So I would say that December's probably our toughest month. In terms of the easiest month, and to be fair with League One, there's no easy months on paper because I think all the opposition have got something to prove or something to offer against us, which means we have to stay defensively on our toes as much as possible. On paper, if you want me to pick an easy month, if you want me to pick an easier month, I mean, if we didn't have Luton in September, you'd have probably said September because you've got AFC Wimbledon that should be promoted. I mean, Bradford, they're going to be tough. Wigan, like they could provide something. So, I mean, if you didn't have Bradford and Luton, you'd probably say September's the easiest month. I mean, January, you've got Bolton, you've got Luton, you've got Burton, Wimbledon, Wigan, Orient. So again, I don't think there's really a tough month. I'd just go with, if we didn't have Bradford and Luton in September, that would probably be the easiest month. But I don't think you can pick an easiest month out of this season at the minute. I think that it's way too early to judge what would be an easy month because we're yet to see these teams in action. So, I would say that there's no easy month at the minute. So I think that'll only be determined as the season goes on. But definitely the toughest month is December. I think December's the toughest month of the season. And I'll repeat again, Stockport twice, Cardiff, Plymouth, Blackpool. I mean, and that's a Blackpool away date, by the way. So you've got Stockport at home, and then you finish the month Stockport away. And in between that, you've got Cardiff away, Plymouth at home, and Blackpool away on Boxing Day. So, again, it's going to be a very interesting situation, that one. I will try to get out to as many of these games as possible. It just depends where I am financially, but we will cover these games as much as we physically can regardless. So thank you all very, very much for watching this little video on the fixture release schedule. We'll be back for a collected video with both the Virtue Trophy group draw and the Carabao Cup draw. So we'll bring both of those together in the same video, or we might do separate videos. Not too sure yet, but as soon as I know, you will know. But thank you very much for watching this. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, and I will see you later.